So good evening everybody, welcome to the Donny Chain Gang with me, Matt Payne, live on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. I've had a really busy day, great to be back again. We were out and riding yesterday, and I know Russ and myself both look like we've been down the pit by the time we finished, and the bear even had mud in his facial hair. So definitely a tough day out on the bike, a little bit drier today. And none of that matters unless you happen to be on Zwift at the moment, which is raining for some reason in London. You just think, why? Why bring rain? We come to escape the real world on Zwift. We have a great classic DONNYCHAINGANG course for you tonight. We are back in London for Greater London Flat, and it's going to be pretty tough stuff. I can imagine that we're going to be very, very quick. Lots and lots of numbers already signed up. And we are expecting to be ticking around about that 300 rider mark. Remember, guys, if you're on live, make sure your messenger board is on. Make sure that you have your watts per kilo dialed. You know exactly what 2.5 watts per kilo is in watts for you. In my case, I can't do the maths because 85 times 2.5 is not great. But if I was 100 kilos, like a certain Mr. Gareth Mason, it'd be really easy because that would mean it would be 250 for 2.5. Keep around the yellow beacon once we kick off, and don't forget, of course, guys, pay attention to the screens. We will be finishing on the mile as usual, and this has seen some really aggressive riding once the go has gone. Man who is going to be orchestrating everything is going to be the bear, Russ Downing. Russ just getting himself sorted out, and I know he's been busy as well. We've got lots of great plans and keep on changing and improving, and you might have noticed we've got a few more graphics over the last few weeks, and that's simply because you guys have helped us get some subscriptions in there, which means that we can get better graphics, better images behind the scenes, and not as straightforward as you'd think. You can't just cut and paste it from Google. If only it was that simple to upload it onto the software. Now, we're all loaded up. I know the guys have been sorting out the Grand Tour coffee, and I've got to say this is number, we did ask how many, it was close. It's not number 14, this is number 19 in here today, and it's going to be actually shots 19, 20 and 21 because it's a triple in the cup. Now, big thank you to Ben at Grand Tour Coffee. We're all ready to go with the OTE as well. So why not, without further ado, let's see if we can get hold of the bear, of Russ, see what he has been up to today and what he's expecting tonight. So, with the wonders of modern technology, like a 1970s radio station, let's hope he's on the line.
Good evening, Bear speaking.
Good evening, Bear. I'm wanting a nice cuddly teddy bear tonight who's not been poked by anybody. Is that what we're going to get?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know if everyone saw the Instagram pictures yesterday. I'm just pulling dirt and grime out of my fur, actually. So yeah, I need a steady one as well.
Well, I did try. I almost put that picture up on the live feed to introduce you, but I didn't want to scare any of the youngsters because we do have quite a lot of young riders on the chain gang as well, which is always great to see. But of course, they have the work cut out because they're all really light and little.
Yeah, but hopefully that'll be all right today on a flat course. So
yeah.
But yeah, so we have. I was just watching a bit of the footage back early this afternoon, and yeah, there's some great youngsters on board now. You know, like 10, 12, 14-year-old, and they're making it in the front group. So they're going well, as the saying goes.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be a little bit tougher tonight with it being on the flatter courses, but we'll see how it goes on the way through. We are looking, of course, at a classic course, and for us on the Chain Gang, we've seemed to have been here probably more times than any other course, I think.
Yeah, I think we have. It seems a while since we've been there now, but you know, what is it? A couple of weeks. We went to yeah. Where do we go? Where do we go, Matt? Come and help me out.
It does turn into a blur. We've been to France. We've been across in the States. We've been to Richmond. Yeah. We've been to the RGV. We've been to Lorraine. Been to Innsbruck more times than I care to remember. But we seem to return back to London, of course, and back to the grand, the flat, the Greater London flat, time and time again.
Yeah, firm favourite. Everyone knows it now, and we shouldn't even need to type the instructions on the screen, but we do.
Well, there are always new riders. Just seen a few new riders. I think Brittany back just saying she's just come on and joined for the first time. A few other new names on there as well. So good to see them. And we've got Mr. Richards on Red Beacon as well.
Yeah, as Keith's been on the gang for a while. Known Keith a long time, big friend of the family. So yeah, it's good to have him on board, and so good.
Excellent. Right, well, I'm going to let you get back to instructions because it looks like those rider numbers are creeping over the 215 mark at the moment, and we'll grab ourselves a view of the course intro for everybody if they haven't already seen it 1,000 times.
And I'll turn the volume back up on your mat so we don't interfere with each other.
That always sounds good. Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
All right, mate. Cheers, mate. Bye.
So good to hear from Russ, and without further ado, because time's ticking at 2 minutes to go, let's show you where we're heading tonight. As we have said, we are in London, as you might have guessed by the background, and we are in Greater London Flat, the all-time favourite, I think, of the DCG, certainly the most travelled course. Classic course. Our yellow beacon is Russ, as you've just heard, the bear with us once again. Keith Richards, friend of the Downings and friend of the Donny Chain Gang, doing the sweeper, the red beacon job. The course details: we have a lead in 5.7 kilometres. It's 3 times round the circuit, which is a further 35k, which brings a total up to 40.5. We're going to be heading out with the standard plan, which is going to be a nice steady roll round for into circuit and lap 1, picking it up on lap 2. Lap 3 is going to be at some point all out, depending on when Russ calls go, go, go. Don't forget, once we've gone through the mile, we have about 2k of warm down so that you can stretch your legs around at a nice little amount of elevation, 135 metres. Let's show you what that looks like in terms of the map. And this is our classic map from the Zwift Insider. In on the red loop, we make our way through the sprint up and down Constitution Hill, round onto the Thames, heading in a clockwise direction, climbing back up towards the Hyde Park and the Serpentine before dropping back down into Trafalgar Square and onto the Mall. So 5.7k running, the red section, and then 3 laps of the black section with a sprint line that we use as our finish line, which is on the mile. It's a big red banner, and that is the red banner from the Ride London. In terms of elevation, well, the profile is pretty straightforward. We've stretched this a little bit. Key points to note: there is a big dip at the top of the screen. That is where the blue beacon is now. That is the dip at Hyde Park Corner. That is the underpass. It will pick up speed going in, and it will climb out of there very, very quickly indeed. That is where it's absolutely critical to be on board. It then drops back down into Trafalgar Square, which is where the 3 sections, of course, join together, and then heads back up Constitution Hill. You've got to be on the map at the right time. You've got to be joined together. It's absolutely critical. So our riders are just starting to head out on to the course. We're going to get ourselves out with them any second. Just got to make sure that all the tech is rolling in the right direction. So we're going to take a little look. I think Russ at the moment buried deep in the course. So we're just going to jump in with Russ. Here we go. So Russ out in the circuit, and we're just running alongside the Tower of London, as you can see. So remember, guys, keep it together. Initially, we're going to keep it all packed down. Let's head across into the mile and let's onto the run, and let's just check how everybody's up and running. I think Keith Richards, our sweeper, already checking everybody's out there here on the Donny Chain Gang live on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. So we're out live with the guys, and it's looking good at the moment. Everybody, by the look of it, out of the blocks. And remember, you're only going to see about 100 riders at a time. We're going to focus from our yellow beacon, which is Russ, all the way down to our red beacon, which is going to be Keith Richards. Richards, our sweeper. The man with the red beacon on top. We're just going to drop onto Keith at the moment. So Keith is riding here on the back, and Keith in his nice retro kit. And good to see Keith just waiting to pick up Mr. Radcliffe. Radcliffe, we know, has got some serious power and is in at the kill. So I hope Keith is ready for a big kick here as Radcliffe comes alongside. Tristan from Harrogate just in front, and if we take a jump into the beacon, it looks to me like Keith is the only rider, the last rider on the course. So he is now in the right place at the right time. Nobody behind, looks clear behind. So here we go. Our beacon just heading up. We think he's about to go steaming past at least one of our riders. Looks like Neil is on the way back through. So Mel Blackford just in front is going to be trying to get himself up onto the back. And I think O'Neill at the moment from the House Race team just dropped off the back of the pace. Got a little bit of an issue with the bike, so we're going to leave him be. Just in front of Keith, you can just see Mel Blackford just chasing on hard here. So Mel is our rider here in the blue and black, and as you can see, he's going to be running on. A reminder for everybody, the aim is to hold it all together as a big blob as we run up onto circuit at 5.7k. Needs to be run out nice and steady. Remember, don't chase the group. If a group goes off the front, we won't feature it. We will studiously ignore them when they come in towards the finish as well. And, you know, just laugh at them, basically. They're just wasting energy. They'll get swept up later. Now, Mel Blackford just coming up towards Davis here as Cleaver, Genther, all just in a little group off the back of this main bunch. So it looks like Jimmy Allen, the man who has been running a lot of the Saturday spin-offs. So remember, guys, mid 2 watts per kilo is the aim as we just take a little bit of a spin back. Looks like Mel just picking up Davis at the moment. He's got Radcliffe behind. And there is a little pack of riders just trying to make their way back up on to the top. So Cleve up there. Looks like Genther's got on the cannonball at the moment. Just being distanced a little bit here. Having to put out 5 watts per kilo to get back on. So the house race team working on joining from the back of the group, telling the red beacon not to wait for them. That's exactly what we want. Communication is key between our riders. As you can see, the cannonball just making his way in and through this group as they make their way along. Remember, we will only be focusing from the yellow beacon back to the red beacon, and the aim is for us to keep dialed in on them as we make our way up the circuit. So just in with Richards here. This is our sweeper at the back. And the sweeper at the moment's got the pretty clear view in front, I think. Yeah, there you go. He's got hardly anybody in front. The guys behind from the house team are going to be trying to close that gap down. 1 or 2 late joiners as we've come along. And remember, plenty of riders out on circuit now. So it looks like Roberto just joining late, just making his way up, trying to close up on to Keith here. And remember, we've got Cleve and Crichton at the moment. This little group here, just distanced a little bit from the front. The call coming from Russ here to knock the pace off. As you can see, the yellow beacon well buried in the pack of riders. Mel Blackford just coming onto the back of Crichton here. It looks like Mel doing a really good run to pull the group up. So a good call from Bryce Smithy there, the multi-time national champion, professional rider. All the guys who know the score, they'll all be sitting at the 2, 2.5. That's how the chain gang runs. The guys who've gone off the front, more for you. Everybody's just laughing at you. So nice ride in here by Crichton, just pulling his way up on to that group, and as you can see, that gradient just kicking in. Our rider's going to be coming in. We're just going to follow Crichton as he comes into this group here. And as you can see, just taking that right hand turn, nice group of riders all sitting here behind the yellow beacon. And yeah, big thank you to Brian. Brian knows the score. Good to have Brian Smithy, one of the really nice guys in commentary and in broadcasting, and had the pleasure of chatting with Brian regularly, and Brian's absolute superstar. Don't forget you can catch up with him on Eurosport, on GCN and similar. So remember guys, need to be pulled around the yellow beacon. That's where the aim for everybody is, and as you can see at the moment, Ross just sitting nice and comfortably in here, and we're just going to drop in with Russ. So Ross in the group, riding the green Pinarello Dogma there, and Russ from the DCG, from the Downing Cycling Donny Chain Gang, nicely packed in with this group. You'll get the nearest 100 riders to Russ as we make our way around circuit. And remember, of course, it's 100 riders the limit you will see. If you can't see the yellow beacon, then you've gone too hard, too fast. Good to see Miller is back in here from Fusion CC once again. Looks like Gail Phillips is in as well. Lily Swan back with us. Looks like Ruth Taylor in this group. Ben from Velo Viewer. I'm going to say a massive thank you to Velo Viewer for the graphics. Absolutely great to see them. Just jumping in with Corby back in with us once again. Chris Gale's in here. Looks like Potts in here. Looks like Mosley Coleman in this group, all riding around comfortably. Looks like Miss Cookie in here. So Grimshaw sitting in with this group. Looks like Oral in the group. Andy Bishop's in here. Davis in here. Craig Sellen, Luke Stone. Looks like one or two riders just being pushed off the back of this group by the pace on the front. And they're pretty fast riders here. You've got Liam Callaway. You've got Craig Genther, Luke Stone. You've got Rich Topping. These are quick guys. Topping are one of our really fast riders. The moment the hillside kicks up, Topping is the man to watch out for. Genther sitting on his wheels. And Genther again, another very experienced rider. These guys just sitting at the back of the group and just keeping an eye on what's happening up in front. So as we look up towards the gantry here, this is our start-finish gantry for the lap itself. And the green sprint line at 200 metres to go. You can just see the riders ticking the way in and through. Good to see Bryce Smithy actually holding the pack together at 13.79. I think Tim Colby just at the back there, just pushing on. Remember, of course, if you want to put a push on, you do it at the back. So remember, the aim is to sit at the back of the group, to roll around at the back rather than to push on at the front. Remember guys, it's all about the numbers, keeping it down at 2.5 watts per kilo. If experienced and top class pros like Bryce Smithy, like Scott Thwaites can all sit in the pack, then I'm sure you're more than capable of doing the same. We're just going to keep an eye on the riders who are round about our beacon. Let's feature some more of our regulars as well as some of our new riders in there. Working our way through. Good to see George Cooper back with us once again. Looks like Ruth Taylor is in the group. Let's drop in with Ruth. So Ruth riding on the side of the group here in the orange. Ruth, one of our regular riders. Craig Sellen, not too far away, another of our regulars. Mr. Gibbons is in there as well. So just riding in with Ruth. Looks like James Allen in this pack as well. We're going to try and jump in with Jimmy if we can. James Allen, one of our really regular riders, he knows the score inside out, and James sitting nicely on the group. So James Allen sitting on the back of the pack, watching everybody do the work in front, getting a good ride through, saving the energy for when it starts to get really quick towards the end. Looks like George Cooper's in here. George is one of our really young riders. We were speaking about them earlier on. George is in here in the yellow, one of our younger riders. He really does have to put some serious pace out to stay with the riders in front, because he's only 40 kilos. He's sub 40 kilos, in fact, is the young un. So looking like he is on form. So Hoyland is in here. Looks like Drummond is in as well. Proven's with us. Good to see Mr. Proven back in as well. Richie Proven. We're just going to take a little look at Richie. Just sat here nicely in the grey there, rolling round near the beacon, just holding the pace nice and comfortably. So like all these are riders and know the score. We're just going to jump back to our sweeper. This is a great way for us to see who is out the back of the group. So at the moment it looks like Keith sitting here nice and comfortably at the back. It looks like we've just got Josh Edmondson joined in front, and Jimmy Allen up there as well. So Jimmy just off the back of the pack here. Not quite sure what James is up to. He's probably going to look to put a little bit at the little bit of effort on to push into that group. We've just seen Josh Edmondson work his way up into the group. So James sitting in here nice and comfortable. Remember, if you do get shelled by the main group, don't forget the key is to find yourself a group and ride around with that group. Don't try and do it on your own. You're not going to be able to motor along. The way Swift works, it's all about keeping pace. It's all about keeping the power there. It's sitting in the wheels as long as possible. Let everybody else do the work. Imagine that you are the sprinter in a team, doing as little work as possible. That is absolutely critical as you go through. So let's jump up from James Allen up into the pack itself. Let's jump in with Davis at the moment. So it looks like James Allen just sitting back and leaving everybody. You can't see everyone, so it looks like James has got a little bit of a drop out. So don't wait for James. Was the shout from James just come through on the messenger. So James Allen has got nobody around him, so he's just dropping out the back so he doesn't interfere with the front. Really gentleman-like of Jimmy. They're going to have him Gentleman James next rather than James Allen. So take a little look at the back of this group, starting to string a little bit. We're just taking a little bit of a look for the yellow beacon here. And these riders still ticking along nicely around about the 2 watts per kilo. Looks like Russ is going to just take a kick to the front, guys. So don't react to Russ going up. I think there's going to be a kick to the front and go, oi, slow it down, sunshine. So we're just going to work our way back. Our riders really do need to pull the blob, don't react. So Russ just going up to the front to get some handle on the plan. So currently riding in with Drummond. These guys sitting nicely at 2.5 watts per kilo. This is the back of the group, and this is where it's going to reform back to. And let's take a little bit of a look at the back. Looks like George just sitting at the back of this pack. Looks like Liam Callaway just rolling around at the back here. And looks like Liam again just using the going off the back of the group so that he can then push back into it, which is the way to stretch your legs on the chain gang. Come off the back and then make your way to the front. Now remember, guys, Russ is on his way up, and that's quite simply because the front of the group have poked the bear, and he now has grump on. You have been warned. So currently from the back to the front of the bunch, we have at least 24 seconds. 24 seconds the distance from the back to the front of the bunch. So the group that are around Russ now getting told to knock it off, slow the pace down. So Russ taking a roll up there, so that means we're going to have a little bit of a look. We shall no doubt be all ready to name and shame anybody who's incapable of keeping the pace down. You should all know the score. 2.5 watts per kilo. The maths is simple. If you roll past more than 2.5, we will name and shame you. Looks like that group just starting to reform nicely. Remember, the aim is 2.5. Let's take a run towards the back as this group just about holding at the 2.5. So, Nick Frass, 3.3. Nick, don't be a muppet, knock the pace off, kiddo. Let's have a little look for anybody else knocking out threes over around Russ. Is everybody going to be behaving themselves? The random wheel of death. Andy Johnson, 3 watts per kilo. Take it down to 2.5, my son. That's where it needs to be. Don't poke the bear will poke back. Mark EMJ, 3.5 watts per kilo. Named and shamed. Let's keep on scrolling. Adam Pinder, 3.5 watts per kilo. 3.3. Named and shamed. We're going to have a really good game when it comes to blocking people. Remember, guys, we watch this back and we can knock you out of the ride. You don't get a ride, you don't get to go on, you don't get to play. If you can't play, by the rules, kids. Right, we're going to head back. Little name and shame moment going off at the front for people incapable of counting up to 2.5, and we're going to start working our way back through the group a little bit further back. We're just going to jump in with Victoria Chavaria, Vic in the group, and doing a good recruiting job I think out in Costa Rica. Our riders now heading back up to the top of the circuit. Let's have a little look through here. Looks like Sean Ferron in this group. Mark Swift is in here as well. Looks like Joel Davis in here. I'm just going to drop back to our sweeper at the back and work our way from back to the front. So at the moment, Keith is our sweeper, having a very lonely ride, Keith. I think you're going to be picking up people soon. 2 minutes 15 in front is going to be Segura. So Mario riding strongly just up in front here, 2 minutes 15 up. Then we have 2 riders. This is going to be Mr. Cleve here. So Cleve just sitting with Bell at the moment. So Matt Cleve and Bell together. So Cleve and James up Bell. So let's have a little bit of a check. So it looks like Cleaver and Bell at the moment trying to kick 4.5, nearly 5 watts per kilo to get to the back of the group. It's 15 seconds up in front. They aren't going to see Bradshaw though. They're just about to pick him up here. So Bruce Bradshaw, Bruce, you're about to get a couple of riders on the way through. Is Bruce going to be able to respond to this and pick up that back wheel? I think Bruce just feeling the pace. He goes up to 2.3 watts per kilo. Can't afford to leave that kick too late. Now these 3 riders just off the back of the group. It looks like Bradshaw now 3 seconds behind. He is going to be seeing Keith the sweeper fairly quickly. Cleveland Bell working hard to try and close that gap down. It's currently at 9 seconds to the back of the bunch. And it looks like Russ being dropped by the front group yet again. Holding at 2.5 watts per kilo. Don't worry, Russ. They won't be at the front by the end. So the group at the back here, these 2 riders working to close the gap down, getting it down to 4 seconds here. Bell and Cleve. 2 riders working well, trying to close the gap back down again. They were dropped off the back. They have now managed to pull the pace up. Let's jump in. We've been in with Cleve. Let's jump in with Bell here. So this is Bell on the front now. And as you can see, they're just going to make contact with the back of the group. It's going to be Brooks and Dakin. They're going to see first of all. So here they come. So nice riding, and as you can see, they're just making their way up on to the back. Looks like Dakin at the moment with a drop out there. So let's jump back in with the group. Brooks is the rider we're in with. Looks like Wells just been spat off at the back, and going to be picking the pace up. Jump in with Kuzak here. And just in with Vicia, so just keep an eye, see how she's going. It's nice and smooth, nice pedal revs, 95 or 96 revs per minute as we drop down. Now this is the fabled underpass. This is exactly where the riders will be running into at pace on the last lap, because they know that the kick coming up the other side is very, very difficult indeed. When the pressure goes on, that's where the attacks will go. Now Wells has got the power back in again, just kicking on here, because just picking up the power. 2.8 watts per kilo to jump on to the back. Wells just making his way onto the side of Rob Carling. Carling responding to that little bit of pressure there, just trying to jump on to the wheel. So good to see Rob out and riding. So as Nick Dorsey says, let the guys go who don't play the game and not in the group. We won't be featuring them at all on the YouTube channel. It's really simple. If we want, we will just run it down to a subscription join, and then everybody will be in trouble, because we'll just ban you if we see you go over the watts per kilo. As Russ and I said when we set this up, as the co-production a little while ago. So our game, play by our rules, or we will take you out if need be. Now, riders who are playing by the rules, all these guys sitting in here, Mark Swift, Rob Wimble, all know that they can motor on if need be. Gary License up there. Looks like Mr. Davis just completing his weekly distance, doing the distance and going through that distance goal there. Good riding by Davis here. So Joel doing the business, and Joel, of course, one of our red beacons, rotating round our regular riders in here. Good to see Dan Evans is in here. David Hopkinson, another of our regulars, the House Boys, making it up into that group. Sean Ferrens in there. Looks like Rich Crawley riding well, nicely in and sitting in with the yellow beacon. Watson's in here as well. Looks like Ellis in here. Mees in here. Craig Sellers in here. Just having a little bit of a check through here. Woodall's in. It looks like Andy Birdsall in this group. Hills is in here as well. Rich Orrell, Craig Drummond in the group. All riding nicely round with the group as they roll in. Looks like we might well have Craig Priest in with us as well. Just keeping a little bit of an eye on the riders in this group. It's Cameron Priest, so here we go. Cameron sitting in this group as well. And remember the call from Russ there. Don't squeeze on early. The sprint needs to be a sprint rather than going too early. And that is all about motion your way on. It's going to be a sprint up to the line. And then we are going to be looking at a run from the sprint line onwards on a free wheel, if we can, please, guys. So jumping in with Russell once again, sat nicely in this group. These riders all are riding around the yellow beacon. So here we go in towards the sprint. We're going to jump up with the drone cam. Now the key here is not to go too early because you need a group to run through. So Russ just starting to pick up the pace. Remember, Russ more than capable of kicking out 10 watts per kilo for the full duration. Now comes a kick, 11, 12, 13, 14 watts per kilo nearly. Looks like Gareth Mason kicking out 16 watts per kilo in front, but Russ is closing in on him here. Who's going to get it? Kieran Smith at the moment with a 9.76, the fastest rider. And Kieran's at 9.76 sees him take first place. It's going to be Ben from Fellow Viewer at 9.92. Then Russ Downing in at 10. Gareth Mason, the fat cyclist, at 10.16. And remember, guys, it's about freewheeling now. Drop it down to sub 2 watts per kilo, guys. Sub 2 watts per kilo. Let's jump in with Bryce Smithy. We've heard Brian out on the chain gang, making sure those instructions come out loud and clear. So a soft tap on the front, please, guys. Don't go over the 2.5 watts per kilo. You just see the guys just taking the pressure off because we need to have a bit of a regroup. We're going to work our way back down from the boys at the front, and we just see Kieran Smith currently doing 2.3, 2.7 watts, 2 watts per kilo here. Kieran just rolling back in to the group here. He's our fastest time with a 9.72, and going to need the pace to come off the front, please, guys, so that we can get the group back together again. So our sprint winner currently in the men's competition, currently rolling at 2.2 watts per kilo. We're going to try and have a quick check through to find our women's fastest rider. Easier said than done on this circuit because it is very, very fast indeed. And at the moment the screens are not able to tell us the split, it just tells us the total riders. And just taking a little bit of a look through, it's going to be, I think, a little bit of a trip through the pack. So hold the pace, please, guys. Hold that pace. We need the group to come back together again. We're going to head our way down through from our fast riders at the front, right the way through the pack, and we are going to be aiming to find the groups at the back. Let's jump in with our sweeper beacon. This is Keith Richards, and Keith, as you can see, just making his way underneath the gantry, and it looks to me like in front of him it is going to be Scott, I think, who is almost the rider at the back of the pack. So it looks like Bass is here. Bass kicking 2.5, Corby kicking out 3.9, Scott 2.4. Miss Cookie, that's Sarah Grimshaw at the moment, trying to get herself back onto the back of the group, kicking out 4 watts per kilo. So please hold that pace, guys. Not going to need to hold it much longer, I don't think, but we do need to hold on. We've got riders just off the back here. Looks like Cookie, and as Cookie has got some riders behind as well, just coming in from the back of that group. So Bass, Corby and Co trying to work their way back onto the back of that group. We are just going to jump in. Looks like Bradshaw, Jimmy Allen as well off the back. Segura just coming around that bend. They're not going to make it back. Bass can see the beacon. That's going to be a big, long run. Corby's got a chance here. Corby's pushing some good watts per kilo here. 3.7 at the moment. There's Scott with him as well, and I think Scott's just going to be distanced here. So Scott not jumping onto Corby. Corby now at 6.2 watts per kilo. Miss Cookie, that's Sarah Grimshaw, needs to keep her wits about her because she is going to see the guys coming quite quick. She's 16 seconds in front of the back of the pack, 27 seconds up the road. And as the rain starts to come down even heavier here in London, we're at 20k covered at the moment. Remember, we have 3 laps in total. We have done 1.2 laps at the moment. The main pack alongside the Housing Parliament, which is shrouded in mist. It's a real pea super up in front. So we take a right-hand turn on the face by the palace. You can see the tower that has the Big Ben bell in there, the clock tower of the Palace of Westminster. So we have a couple of riders, 1, 2, 3 riders off the back. We've got Corby currently 18 seconds down, kicking at 4 watts per kilo. Cookie working hard to get into this group. Come on, Sarah. You can see them in front. Corby's coming hard. Cookie's working well here. Looks like Cooper's there. We may well need a couple of our fast riders to come back and give them a hand here. Cookie's really pushing hard here at 4 watts per kilo. Sarah really is trying to pull that gap back, but it looks like the group in front are pushing on. Tim's working hard behind, and Tim doing 3.8 or 5 watts per kilo now. So these are our riders. It's Cookie, Tim Corby, it's Sarah Grimshaw, Miss Cookie working to get that gap back. They've got 11 seconds to 3 very quick riders who are sitting near the back here. And I think we're going to see a couple of riders just go off the back here to try and give them a hand. I think Rich Shade here is going down. Now we know Rich has got some serious power. Is he going to pick it up and join the group? He's up to 2.6 watts per kilo. So here he goes. He's going to give him a hand through, I think. So let's see. I think Rich with a power drop out there. That's not good news. So Cookie trying to close the gap down. And it's 9 seconds at the moment. So it looks like Nick Dorsey having a drop back. George Cooper, Rich Topping, Rich Dobson's also doing the honourable thing coming back. Look, here comes Corby now. Now, if Corby and Cookie can meet up, they've got a chance of pulling it back. If we take a little bit of a look up the road, you can see on the top map, top right-hand side of your screens, this is the view of the group in front, and this is the nearest 100 riders. The bunch look to be pushing on in front of us at 25 seconds now. And it does ensure they're not going to see that go signal for a while now. Topping coming back here. Dobson's come back as well. Corby coming through, steaming through. This is where it's all about. Giving it a kick, working together. This is a really good group of 4. Rich Topping, we know, is capable of taking the win here. We're just still sitting in with Sarah at the moment to give us a good view of these 4 riders. They're working to close that gap down. Cookie really pushing out big watts per kilo here. Sitting on that wheel of Topping following Corby. Corby following Dobson. Come on, Sarah, keep in that slipstream. Don't let the elastic snap. They're pushing onto the back of the group here. Can they get back on? Now, this is the first group they've got to get onto. And Russ is going to be able to see the gaps up behind it. It's only a matter of a few metres. Sarah has to get onto the back of this group, though. And it looks like it's fracturing. Come on, Cookie. Sarah's got to keep those watts per kilo. She's doing 4 watts per kilo. You can see at the moment needs someone to drop back. The front group being told to soft pedal to let the groups come back in again. This is the critical kick here. Let's jump up there to Liam Calloway. It's a couple of seconds. If we take a little bit of a look behind, it looks like Russ dropping back for Cookie here. So Russ just picking that pace up gently here. This is the way to do it. You don't go too hard on the front. You pull the riders back steady. Liam Calloway's doing the same. Liam just dropping back here to give Sarah a lift up to the front. And then come sweeping in from behind. You give them a tow all the way on the way past. And this is about getting that push on. So Sarah getting the help there from Russ. It looks like Liam Calloway doing the same as well. Trying to give Sarah a pull back on to the back. So Russ working hard here, trying to keep these groups together. Let's have a little look. Toppings up on here. Mel Blackford, Nick Dorsey, Emma Collier, the back of this group all lined out at the moment. Just trying to keep the pace back. So as you can see behind the Wells here, the group is all fractured out. Remember, if you can see Russ, if you think Russ is on his own, it's really simple. He's not. He's got loads around him, but you'll only see the 100 riders that are nearest you. You only see the 100 riders nearest you. If you're at the front or the middle and you think Russ is out on his own, there are loads of riders around him, shelled off the back of the main group. So the rear group are going to try and push back on to the back of the pack. Now's the time. If you're at the back, guys, the sweep is on. There is a run coming. There's a group working its way from the back of the group up towards the front. There are a lot of riders in that pack, steadily making the way up towards the front. Jump on the train. It's on its way. So you can see riders now starting to form packs here. Looks like Dobson, Sims are back here. Looks like Dobson doing a great job here with Sims pulling people up. Nick Dorsey doing the same. Miss Cookie just up in front as well. These guys working to pull the group back. Looks like Alf Tupper up the front doing some seriously good work. Dawson doing a real sterling job here, helping the riders behind to come back up to give them a tow. And just taking a look, looks like Tupper again on the back of the group. Chaplin here, Carl Johnson, Tristan from Harrogate has been back to help out. We know Tristan's definitely got the pace to stay with that front group when it goes. Looks like Mark Swift sitting at the back of this pack. So Swift has got Tristan behind him. He's got Parry in front, License. Looks like Andy Birtles just up. Birtles up there. Dave Hopkinson, Sean Ferran, Parry, Catley, Fryer, Bolt, all in this group, sitting behind that yellow beacon at the moment. And it's just starting to group up at the back here, as the pace has gone up and stayed up fairly high up on the front. We'll just take a little bit of a run up through the group here. So steadily rolling our way up towards the front, and it looks like our women's fastest sprint time is a rider in the red here. So new rider coming in from the States to take the sprint jersey in the women's sprint competition. Fastest women's sprint time is a great time for Brittany. So Brittany back, a rider on the black Tron bike, the Swift Concept 1 bike, sitting in the group here. Sees the beacon in front. It's going to be a drop down into the tunnels. We're at 26.5k to go. And Brittany, you're going to need to push on now, kiddo, because this is where it's going to get really, really tough. You can see behind here, Victoria Chivari just coming onto the wheels here. Brittany back, the two riders know each other well here. They need to get a move on. So Brittany are waiting for the riders and then got dropped. It's dangerous. They can't afford to let any gaps go. at the moment. Looks like Vic jumping onto the back here. They've got a push on here. John Garfer in this group, Hoyland in this group, Ruth Taylor in this group as well. It's a really a good group here, and you can see these riders are kicking on right up in front. There's one long line in front of these riders, and they are now in ones and twos up in front as the riders are all chasing the bear, who is well in front of the group. We're going to roll our way right up towards the front if we can. Easier said than done, but it's skinning right up in the leading group. So Johnny Two Dogs up here. Looks like Mr. Green in here. Tony Nadani is in this group as well. Mr. Vickers is in here. Mr. Genther in this group as well. Mark Walsham's in the group. Matt Winston is in here. Mike Salcald still sitting nicely in this group, not too far. Looks like Watson in the group here, and Watson definitely one of the men to watch out for. Multiple winner when we've been up on the hills. He's been almost unbeatable as we come around the top bend here. We're now on to the descent. And remember, we're going to be watching where the group is around Russ. Russ is our beacon at the front. Anybody in front of Russ, forget it. You ain't going to get TV time until we get to go, go, go. And anybody who then comes past with Russ, that's when we will be featuring the front of the ride here on the Donny Chain Gang. So just riding in with Watson, just rolling in to the side here of Russ Downing by the look of it. Joel Davis sitting alongside as well. Turner's in here. Mr. Hanley sitting nicely in this group. Hanley, another rider who we know is going to be in at the finish. Is he going to be the man who's going to be taking this out? Walsham is in here. Class never ends. You can just see Walsham riding smoothly in this group here, and all of these riders saying no. Russ sitting in the pack. If we jump up in the air, you can see at the moment this group just coming in towards the turn, in towards Admiralty Arch, and the beacon sitting just around Walsham here. Looks like Kieran Smith in this group, nicely sitting around the pack around Russ as they come on to the straight now. Is anybody going to be foolish enough to go for this? It's not the smartest of moves to go on the second one. We're still sitting all together at the moment. There's been no indication from Russ. That we're going to do anything other than roll through. So this group around Russ at the moment. This is the nearest 100 riders to Kieran Smith. Looks like one or two riders just pushing on a little bit. Nobody touching or troubling Kieran at the minute. And Russ sitting nicely in with this group. This is where the lead is going to come from. So some quick times for some of these riders coming through for the lap, but not for the sprint. Our riders are sitting in there. So plenty of panicking going on, as Russ has said, because this is not yet released. This is still sat here. And the pace is pretty hot at the moment. Good to see Mr. Edmondson in here. You can hear the pace just coming off as we come up on to Constitution Hill. Riders scattered all around the circuit now. So it looks like Mohamed Salah in this group, looking smooth, sat in the group. Looks like Pinder Goddard in this group as well. McNamara in here. Dan Evans sitting around the beacon. So Chris Hilbert is in here, and here goes the go, go, go. We've just had the go, go, go come through. Everybody knows that there's going to be a massive kick on the way in. Just going to jump in with Andy Bishop at the minute in that yellow and black. We're going to keep an eye on where the front of this group is. This is the leading group on the way through. Radcliffe and a Knight rolling around a Russ at the minute. This is where the pace cuts hot, and you can just see Bishop at the moment just sitting. He's got Crawley round him. He's got Hussein in here. Josh Edmondson working their way up. It looks like Ian from Stellarton up here. Craig Sellen as well, another fast man sat in this group. So he's just keeping an eye on Craig. Look at that orange strip. He's riding on the back wheel of Russ. He knows exactly where he needs to be. Sit in with Russ. Sit in with this group. The pace has gone up. Who is going to take the kick here? You can see behind, the pressure is on, and it's stringing these riders out. This is what happens once that go goes. It's all about sitting in the wheels. Work your way up to as near to the front group. Craig Sellen now moving on and pushing on up to the front. So Sellen now sits in wheel number 2. And just seeing a move here from Josh Edmondson. Looks like Edmondson wants to string this out here. So Edmondson on the front of the group. You can just see the look back from Josh here as he starts to push even harder on the front of the group. He's starting to string this out. Everybody is sitting in there. Is anybody going to get back together again now? It's going to be very, very close as they come back. The pressure on from Edmondson, really stringing that group out. You can see behind, it's now very, very close. Pinder moves on the front, Miller goes in. Edmondson just takes a little bit of a breather. The pace is very, very hot up on the front here. And everybody putting a kick in. Looks like McNamara's gone for this now. Is McNamara going to string this out? Is he going to be the man who takes this on from the front? He's gone hard here. We're going to just try and jump right up with him. So just in with McNamara here. McNamara it is who is starting to stretch it out. Tom Knight responding to it. Miller's responding to this as well. So Miller just comes alongside in the light yellow and green stables, moving up here, and looks like McNamara just dropping back into the pack here. Russ sitting in here. Good to see Elliot Smales in with the group. So Smales looking strong as they come up here, and clearly very, very comfortable with the pace, just moving his way up on to the second wheel in this group. And still the pressure comes, still people trying to roll this at the front of the group. Just keeping an eye on who's in here. Looks like Ben from Bellevue nicely sat in here as well. Just keeping an eye on Hot Dogs in here. Sandy Smith still sitting in this group. Thornley is though now. Thornley's a regular on the front of the group. He always tries to break it up. He tried to break it up when we were up at Box Hill on the run in towards it. And Thornley now really is keeping a nice tempo up here. I think all he's done though is shell riders at the back. That group is thinning out a little bit. Looks like Matlock just hanging on to the wheels. Dan Evans holding the wheels just about at the back here. The pressure came on the front, and once again it has stretched this group out, with the riders being distanced off the back. The problem is you go too hard, you can end up getting shelled from the group very, very easily indeed. Now looks like Hargreaves pushing up onto the front. He saw the danger in there, just jumping in with our sprint winner Kieran Smith. He's been a winner on here before. Will he be the winner on here this time? We've seen Russ win here. The man up on the front though, big danger man. It's Watson who's gone. So Dean Watson now on the front. We know when it goes uphill, he is a dangerous man to let go clear. But Watson is a strong man. We were in New York. He kicked and kicked again. He got a breakaway in. This group is holding tight at the moment. You can see it's a very snug group. They go back alongside the river. Once again, just alongside Battersea Power Station here. Now one or two riders just stretching this on the front once again. Looks like Miller once again pushing it up. He's up at 6.5 watts per kilo at the moment. So Miller from Fusion, our rider up on the front here. Kicked away at 6.5. He's been left to dangle though by that group behind, but Miller from Fusion CC is just sitting off the front here, and he's going to need to save some kind of strength to jump back in with that group. And Knight's in that group, Macken's in there from Shefrek as well. Some of our house team, O'Neill's in here, some of our late joiners have made it into this front group. You can just see he's just taking the pressure off there. He's jumping in with Dawson now, so Kev Dawson in the group. Is it the Kev Dawson? That's a good question. He's riding like the Kev Dawson, that is for sure. So here we go, the big T's in here, Sandy Smith, Raynham's in here, Pearson in this group, Ben from Veloviewer riding strongly in the group, Elliot Smell sitting in here as well, Skelton's in this group, Turner's in here, Matt Winston's on a good ride here, Matt sitting in the group as well, just keeping a little bit of a look, looks like Radcliffe just on the back of the group at the moment. This is our leading group. Barnett now comes up towards the front. He's pushing on. So it's Barnett, McNamara, Pinder, Watson, Evans all working hard. Pinder just leading them out now. A little bit of a push through here by Keith Richardson. Sandy Smith up on to the front now. Stables not too far back. Tobias looking strong here. Remember, we're making our way out up towards the top. We're going to be into the circle towards the turn of the square, which is coming up, so we're going to have a right hand turn here, and this group just holding together, comes around that right hand turn into the left hand turn. Idle still in this group as well, Phil Ozike in there. Everybody pushing as they come around these turns. Pinder's gone hard. Matt Winston currently sitting on the front of the group, getting mobbed on his way through. This is our leading group. So whilst it's sort of flat on the way in, time to grab a gel, time to fuel up with the OTE for these riders. Sitting in here with Kev Dawson. I suspect we are going to see just how the guys are going on the front. Let's jump in with Ben from Veloviewer. Ben, of course, one of our keen supporters. Great to have him on the Chain Gang yet again. A very, very quick rider in his own right, and of course the man behind the Veloviewer, the profile graphics. Remember, get yourselves onto the Veloviewer site. There's some fantastic offers on there, and remember, get yourself signed up for Pro. It gives you so many more features on there, and an absolute bargain for all of the information it gives you. It will record your virtual rides as well as your real life rides. So please, guys, make sure you get on there. Veloviewer, of course, one of our key supporters on the Chain Gang, and remember, support the people who are supporting your sport, supporting the Chain Gang here on the Donny Chain Gang. Now, Sandy Smith on the front again is keen to keep the pace high here, but it's a dangerous move to play on the way in, because you can expend far too much energy on the way through. Just going to take a little bit of a look. Looks like Andy Thornley just turning the wheels around nice and steadily here. Radcliffe's in here, Richardson riding well in this group. Looks like McLean is sitting comfortably as well. In with Josh Edmondson at the moment. Now Edmondson known for big attacks on the way into the finish. Are we going to see one from him as we go down into the underpass? Here we go. This is the critical part. Watch the speed build. We're currently sitting at 50 kph. It's going to really pick up now as we drop down and in. It moves up very quickly indeed. 54, 55 kph, 56 kph. That speed is picking up here. Just skimming the roof in with the group at the moment. Now they all know the moment it hits the climb, it's going to go absolutely mad. Who is going to be able to kick and clear? Already starting to see one or two people kicking in the boost on the very start here. A risky tactic at the moment because it's likely to get a little bit tougher. You go too early with the feather, go too early with the boost, you're going to be in trouble. Now Pinder on the front kicking out to 8.4 watts per kilo, but you can see that all around him here that everybody's mobbing this group and nobody is going anywhere here. Russ moving his way up towards the front as well. Pinder on the front, the fat cyclist is right up there as well. Now, he has been really quiet. Gareth Mason has been doing nothing. Are we going to risk it for a biscuit? I lost faith in my prediction last time. I picked Mason for the win, but he had it absolutely nailed. Now, another attack going here. Bevan Jones on the front here. And I think it's Bevan who has put in the thing. We're just going to have a double check on the way through the companion. It's Bowering who's gone. So it looks like Bowering, the rider who has gone hard on the front. And as you can see, Russ responding to that. Kieran Smith responding as well. Everybody wants to be in with this group as they come in and around here. So round the corner they come on to the descent. You can see the front group all holding together. Dean Watson here, Tom Bowering in here. Knight is in this group. Russ Downing in here. Looks like Kieran Smith has made it. Andy Thornley's made it. Knight's in there as well. Dowtree's made it as well. He really is a who's who of riders when we come in to the finish. Just keeping an eye to see whether or not we've got him. We have. Knight is there. Looks like the fat cyclist is in the group as well, and this is going to be very close indeed as we come down. They're all jockeying for position. Time is running out on the way in. It's about saving your energy, getting your timing right. Let's go in with Mason. You better get it right this time, mate. I'm going to stick with you come hell or high water. So here we go. My pick going to be Gareth Mason, the fat cyclist, the man who we saw the pictures from training. His secret is out, really. He's the Incredible Hulk. Now, Russ on the front. Is this going to be a bare lead out here? It's looking very tight indeed. We are now heading into the finish. The pressure is on. The guys need to be in the wheels. You can just see moving up here. Mason moving into 6th, 7th wheel, sitting comfortably in that group. Now Russ giving it a little kick here. A little bit of a move just to start stretching the rider's legs. Key is not to go too early. We're already seeing a few people trying to put the digs in on the way through. Looks like McLean on the front, opening it up. Who is going to have the power? There's plenty of aero in there, but it's all about what numbers you can kick off from the front. Who's it going to be? You can already see it's quick on the front. Duckworth giving it some big speed. Looks like Hanley has gone hard here. Great riding as they come in and through. What a ride there. Watson once again doing the business. Where does this man find his speed from? And Gareth, you let me down that time, mate. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. We are going to motor our way back through the groups as we run in towards the finish, because what will happen is it jumps physically across the gaps from our riders, and what we have to do is we have to try and get ourselves into the pack sandwiched in between. So apologies if we are missing you on the way through at the moment. We're going to try and get back in with our groups a little bit further up the course. So in with our next pack on the way in here. So looks like Lily Swan in this group here. Hanley's in here, in with Darrell as well. Mike Hanley has gone for this. Hanley gone hard off the front of this group. Just keep it an eye. Hanley's gone. Lily Swan's kicking in hard. So Lily up at 9.9 watts per kilo. Swan's going to come through strongly here. Riley coming through hard as well. Chris Hilbert putting out 9 watts per kilo on the way in. Cook putting a good ride. Looks like Mama Salaman doing another good ride on the way in here. We're going to work our way back down. I think our next rider is going to be Vickers, who comes in. So Vickers just having a little bit of a lonely ride on the way in to the finish here. We're going to be coming through for Heinz CC. Next rider is going to be Elwood. So Elwood now out on course, just holding off a bunch behind here. Can he keep it there? Burko's coming quick. Burko's going to steal this. It's Burko who comes in, and it's Burko, then Greenwood coming through. Johnny Lightfoot, then Elwood, after holding off the rest of this group coming in through the finish. You can see all these guys putting in some very fast times indeed. We're just going to try and jump back to the right riders here. Easier said than done, it has to be said here. So just to work our way back down the groups here. So we're going to jump in, Rashid in and through. We do have a number of riders just in front here, so just going to let it tick its way past them. The riders already well in and through the finish. The and just playing tricky stuff with us today. Just have to bear with us. Apologies if we are missing you on your way into the finish. This is why we have to have so much time on the way in and through the finish. So we're going to just jump in with Mr. Bell. Beefy's already in. We try and keep a couple of K rolling to the finish, and that's simply so that we can get ourselves in. And as you can see, he's jumping through very, very quickly indeed. Now with 100 riders, that makes life very interesting indeed. We're going to jump up to Andy Birdsall. I think this is then going to fire us a few more riders on the circuit. Most of our riders in and through that finishing line. So we're going to have to do a major reset for us, which is we're going to jump in with our red beacon. Apologies if we're missing you on the way through, but we're going to have to work from the back to the front to get the riders in. So at the moment we're in with Keith. Keith, our sweeper here. Keith Richards, the red beacon, riding well here. Nicely on to the climb here. Just in front of him is Bradshaw here. So good to see Bradshaw teaming up. And this is Bruce that we're with now. So Bruce riding well with our beacon. Bruce Bradshaw here kicking out nice 2.7 watts per kilo. In front is going to be Scott, who's just in front, heading up towards the side of Hyde Park. 44 seconds in front is Brooks. Now Brooks is into the underpass. So Brooks from Bolsover now on to the climb. In front of him is going to be Segura. Segura heading up. So Mario Segura making his way up on to the climb. In front of him is going to be Andy Birdsall. So Birdsall just in front, and Andy just giving it a kick. Don't drop that pace now that the camera's on you, young man. In front of him is going to be Drummond in the group here. I think with Hopkinson and Co. They're going to be heading in towards the line. Not too far in front is going to be the group with Tupper and Maher, who are on the way in. We're going to keep focused in on these guys now as they come in. So here we go. Drummond, Hopkinson, Bolt in here. So it's Drummond in the orange, it's Hopkinson in the blue GB strip, Bolt in the orange and black. Big kick coming through there, and looks like the riders really starting to wind it up in front. I think Cookie is coming in to the finish. So Sarah Grimshaw has dropped early on, just coming in. She's going to come in ahead of Dobson. Dobson's going to be the rider coming in behind. Then it's going to be Ferren here. Let's just jump up here. Ferren's closing in actually on Dobson, who went back to go help out. Ferren in a big old sprint here, but it's going to be Hopkinson who's going to get that. Hopkinson gets that from Ferren, then Bolt, Drummond, then Tompkins. The riders as they came in and through the line there. So taking a little bit of a look back, where's the progress of our sweeper? He's just heading in towards the underpass. Scott in front on the climb out. Ali Birdsall just closing in on the back wheel of Brooks here. So Brooks is going to get some company. Could be seeing a sprint between them. Then it's going to be Segura. So Mario Segura just in front. So Mario is our rider, just keeping an eye on as he heads in, just taking a little bit of a look behind. I think he's got about 18 seconds to Birdsall and Brooks behind. So a busy old night on the chain gang already. Lots of riders in and through, big packs, and that's what makes it a bit tricky for us to drop back and cover everybody with so many riders on there. Don't forget, all of this brought to you by myself, Matt Payne. So having to do a bit of multitasking with the old fingers between cameras, sound, as well as following everybody, messaging and keeping the group together, as well as commentating and announcing all the way through. So keeping the programme stitched together. And don't forget, we can do this if you've got a club ride that you've got going out. Get in touch, as long as it's not a Tuesday or a Thursday, which of course is Donny Chain Gang night. then you can get this for your club ride, for your club championships or similar. If you've got them out on Zwift, all this done really easy to do. All you need to do is just give us a shout if you want it doing. We're going to watch our riders coming in though, because when Russ and I set this up, it was all about bringing everybody, giving everybody something to look forward to. One of our newer riders in here, Segura, heading in for the lines. Let's jump back in as he comes up towards the gantry. So we're in with Segura now, and just going to watch you come in towards this gantry, keeping the revs at 85 revs a minute here. Beat up at 185 beats per minute in through the gantry goes Mario Segura. He's on next rider in. It's going to be Brooks in with the sprint now. So Brooks really starting to wind this up as he comes in towards the gantry. He's into that 200 meters to go. He can see the gantry coming up. He needs to keep this sprint coming. He's at 10.1 watts per kilo. Big sprint on the way in from Brooks from Bolsover. He comes through just ahead. It's going to be Birdsall, our next rider in. So Birdsall comes through the line and quickly off the pedals. 3.6 in behind Brooks. Good sprint from him. I'm going to drop a little bit further back because I think it's going to be Scott, the next rider out on circuit. Scott heading in towards Trafalgar Square, which you're going to see opening up. The National Art Gallery will be on the left-hand side as well. So Jonathan Scott on his way in, riding nice and smoothly. Experienced Zwifter, level 25 shirt on, so done plenty of kilometres. And remember, of course, if you're riding on Zwift, it's always better to have it set to kilometres rather than miles, because you get the same amount of drops per mile or per kilometre, depending on what you've got it set up as. Key is, get as many points as you can. Down past Nelson's column, and the turn from Scott. Here he goes. He's coming around the corner. He's aligning himself up with Admiralty Arch. You can see it as he goes into the shadow of the arch. Here comes the gantry in front. You can see it lined up in front. He knows when he gets to the green line, he's got 200 meters to go. Scott's going to be our next rider in. Jonathan, we want a big kick out of you as you come in towards the line this time. I don't think it's going to be very long before he gets himself into the gantry. Now here comes that green line. What time can Scott do? Remember, his previous best time was the 13.94. It's going to have been done in a group. It's a quick time. I think Scott's going to hold this pace now on his way in towards the gantry. So our next rider in and over the line is going to be Jonathan Scott. Scott comes in to finish his ride here on the DONNYCHAINGANG. Good riding by Scott. He's going to come through 44 seconds clear of Bradshaw, and I think it is going to be Richards. So here we go. Who's going to take this out? We're going to ride in with Bradshaw. Has come in. Just come in around Trafalgar Square here, and as you can see in the background, the column just disappeared into the background. Under the arch they go. Now we're just going to ride in with them. You can see Admiral Squirrel up on the arch, keeping an eye on the riders as they come in. Bradshaw's leading this out here. He's keeping it together. Are we going to see a kick from our sweeper from Keith Richards? Richards now pressure in, putting that pressure on. They're at 200 metre mark. Here comes the 100 metre mark. It's going to be close between these two. So really it's a game of brinkmanship. Bradshaw just squeezing the pedals here. 2.5, 2.6. Little bit of a squeeze from Bradshaw here. He doesn't want to be taken out. And it is Bradshaw who comes through just ahead of Richards. So well done, guys. Our next rider out on circuit is young Mr. Thompson. So Daniel Thompson currently riding on in. Which means just coming up to the right-hand turn. Means that we can just jump back in and give a few thank yous. A massive thank you to Zwift. Without this platform, without the processing power, we can't bring you everything that's going on in the ride. We can't ride and get this fantastic training platform without Zwift. We can't get you the broadcast. It's dead simple. They keep it stitched all together. Watch out, lots more upgrades coming on Zwift. Russ, of course, doing a lot of work closely with them, myself, and work for them as well on some of the really early game stuff as well. Both of us riding from 2015. In fact, we do remember it when the only course was Watopia. That shows you just how long we have been out and riding. Don't forget, of course, all this possible because of the donations that come from you guys. Please remember, guys, if you donate, it means that Russ and I can spend the time on doing this. Without that, we can't do it. It's really, really simple. We can't afford to do as much time as we are doing on it if we don't get some help from you guys. It's really simple. It just can't be done. Got to keep this thing over my head one way or another, and that means I've just got to try and keep staving off the day when we say sorry, that's it, it's all over. Now remember, of course, we are doing it because you guys are out there enjoying it. Russ and myself, Matt Payne, co-production, putting this together, getting you the Donny Chain Gang. And remember, this ride is there for everybody, so please guys, make sure you go on the Facebook page. Everyone who contributes to that, big thank you. Remember, there's a donate button on there as well. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who helps us with the giveaways going out to you guys. So remember, we've had massive giveaways from the guys at Grand Tour Coffee, and 19, 20 and 21 have all gone. Don't worry, Ben, I'm doing a great job of motoring through it. A big thank you to OTE, again, lots of giveaways from them. Halo Wheels with Halloween, big giveaways from John and all the team down at Halo. Big giveaways as well from 1080 Oakley August. Yes, they are indeed, obviously, Oakleys. Always looked after by the guys at 1080. They look after you guys out there. Some fantastic giveaways of shades going out to Gail Phillips and to Phil Ozake as well. I want to say a massive thank you to Ian at 1080. He's looked after everybody, and I know there's plenty more in the pipeline. Don't forget, you need to go onto the Facebook page. There's a discount code on there for 30% off all Oakleys. Of the list prices of all the Oakleys at 1080 for Donny Chain Gang riders, but you need to go on the Facebook page to get it. Don't forget, of course, we've got lots of giveaways as well from people like the Bad Brewing Company as well, and we've got lots from Muck Off. I've been giving away loads and loads of stuff over the course of the summer, and we've got plenty more to come, but we do rely on you, A, to play the game properly and ride with the Yellow Beacon. Don't poke the bear too much. I've got to live with him tomorrow and talk to him on the phone line and ask him how it all went. I don't want a grumpy bear, that is for sure. So as we see Mr. Thompson on his way in to the line, Daniel Thompson heading into the line, from me, Matt Payne, and from Russ at Downing Cycling, a massive thank you for watching, massive thank you for riding. We're going to jump in with Daniel as he comes sprinting into the line. So here comes Daniel on his way in. We're going to jump up above him here, and as you can see, a great ride by Daniel out on the course, and in he comes through the gantry here. Great riding, well done, Daniel. That's it, time to warm down, young man, and time to get those legs spun out. A massive thank you to everybody who has been out and riding and out watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we can bring you all of this. You'll get a notification when we go live. So have a great weekend. Hopefully see you out on the tracks, trails, or out on the roads, and we will see you again on Tuesday for the next Donny Chain Gang.